Okay, get started. You can see my screen, right, Martin?
I can, yes.
Perfect. All right, let's go. Um, Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. And, today we are going to talk about combating ransomware and the server downtime, which is exploring our latest DPX vStor updates. So I'm Dali. I lead the product marketing at CADlogic. So it's my pleasure to introduce Martin Fan, our field CTO for North America. Martin
Hi, everyone.
actually has been pivotal in shaping our technology strategy and has helped numerous organizations enhance their backup and data protection capabilities. Martin, it's fantastic to have you.
Great to
How
be
are you
here, Don.
doing today?
I'm doing well.
Perfect. So, in our last webinar, we actually introduced the concept of flexible immutability as a cornerstone of our latest DPX vStor update. It's not just flexible, so I share this screen to you. It's also comprehensive. It's also affordable. This feature is pivotal as well because it ensures that once data is written to the backup, it cannot be altered or deleted by ransomware or hacker, effectively locking down your data against these unauthorized changes. But today, we're going to focus not just on the backup target. You see, last time we just focused on the tier 1, tier 2 backup target, like vStor, our major backup repository, like tape and the cloud. We are not just focused on these targets, but on our entire backup system. So with DPX new abilities, especially for vStor, we will explore how to tackle ransomware attacks and even broader threats, such as the scenario we actually mentioned several times on our invitation that like hackers attack, they could bring down your production server. In the same time, could be your backup master server, or sometimes we call it a backup catalog server. So this is our major topic today about different scenarios of ransomware attack. So previously, actually, we have some kind of technology named guard mode. Based on this scenario, you can see that in front of the backup, we do have like a ransomware detectable feature, which named the guard mode. It can help both of your like Windows and Linux to proactively detect ransomware activities. So actually, which is like 2 years ago, I was not even in CapLogic yet. So Martin, can you help us a little bit on a overview of how guard mode functions and how it can evolve to today to tackle the dynamic like threats by ransomware and hackers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually did a webinar on this when guard mode was first introduced, but this is a ransomware detection engine that we had built directly into our DPX product. So it's functionality that's enabled within our DPX backup agent that is constantly monitoring the file system and sending notifications based off of any violations to its rule set. So for example, you can set up violations like a block list or scanning for file entropy or setting up honeypots, even threshold monitoring, right? To a user that writes a lot of files uh, between a given at a given point in time. These are all threshold violations or violations that our guard mode agent will pick up from on the client side and send notifications out to the security team. And again, that is a free functionality. If you're a current DPX customer today, it's just something that we've done to enhance our backup agent to allow users to actively detect ransomware on their production systems and make changes or take action against ransomware from further spreading.
Yeah, I heard about guard mode for several times, and I believe today our audience they are not all installed guard mode. I mean, although it's free, but still, some of our customers or even some of the audience are not our customers. They might never use that. Can you show that to us, Martin?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me.
Let me stop here.
Hi, Dal. Are you able to see my screen here?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
perfect.
let me just give you a brief overview of guard mode on the client side, that is. Uh, Again, this is an agent or functionality that we built into the product here. You're able to download that guard mode agent directly from the support portal and install it to those machines that you want to monitor. But in this case, all we're doing is we're simply scanning in those security nodes. That you have installed guard mode on, right? And this is where you can set up the security threshold checks so we can monitor the file entropy, randomness of the file, just to ensure that file signatures are okay. It's matching an actual file rather than an encrypted file. You can also set up block lists, and these are just patterns, file names that we can use to detect ransomware on your system, and special files monitoring. If you, let's say, wanted to monitor Etsy password or Etsy host in my example, these are just sending notifications for these file types. Threshold violations, honeypot settings, these are all configurable within the guard mode agent. And what you can do from an events perspective is, because it's built, this monitoring is built directly into DPX, it's all showing up as part of these events, login events, backup events that you're taking from the CalLogic DPX server. So if I, as a security administrator, want to now take a look at all the guard mode violations or ransomware detections that are occurring, I can perform a filter. I can set notification settings to email those alerts to myself. But this is internal to the engine of DPX here, showing me all the violations that are occurring, where they're occurring from, and being stored within the DPX database.
Awesome. That looks perfect. But today I'm going to challenge you basically. I mean, we do have a lot of scenarios under ransomware. The hackers, they are quite experienced and let me share my screen. You can see my screen now?
Yes, you might want to go full screen there. That thing.
Yeah. So I mean, for today, hackers they not only just attack your clients, attack your physical virtual machines, they also attack your files, your virtual machines. I mean the other virtual machines, and attack your backup repository. We also use vStor a lot, and sometimes they attack your backup catalog servers. Do you have things that like within our current customers or like your friends, they have been that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always a concern, right? I'm watching on one side and uh, I may not be watching on the other side, right? For a full kind of 360 degree of protection, right? And in this case, a lot of folks that are storing their backup data on vStor, right? Because they're storing
Hmm.
backup snapshots there. They might be backing up their catalog. Um, that's the central database for the DPX master
Yeah,
server,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they want to ensure that that backup is also free from ransomware.
Yeah, so which is pretty important, right? Right. So for vStore could be another hole which could be attacked by any hackers or by any ransomware, and Is there some approach we can deal with that situation?
Yeah, we realized that as we were building guard mode, there was that deficiency within vStore. And if you attended our last webinar, where we talked about snapshot immutability and flexible immutability, the we're preventing users from changing snapshots. We're setting compliance and a snapshot lock on snapshots. But what if somehow, even though we're kind of detecting from the client, we do end up with a ransomware on our destination, or we just want to ensure that our destination is free from ransomware upon a restore. And one of the enhancements that we built within vStore is now the ability to detect ransomware directly within the snapshot through uh, guard mode scanning. That is, we've moved guard mode now to vStore and are now able to ensure that the snapshots, the file backups that you're storing on vStore are also going to be free from ransomware.
Awesome. So that's already some new feature already have, or it's like yeah, on the roadmap.
So it's actually new feature functionality that's coming out within the next release. So I can actually show that to
Okay.
you right now if
Oh,
you'd like to
please.
see
Yeah.
it. Um, so yeah, let me jump to this screen here, and this is something that's pretty cool. And we'll be going into
Mm.
more of this as we talk about this other feature that we're going to talk about today. But with vStore, you know that with advanced recoveries, you're going to be able to perform bare metal restores, mounting snapshots from vStore, uh, making snapshots into virtual machines through virtualization. That's always been in the DPX product, and vStore has always been our software-defined target. We want to make vStore now more independent from the DPX master server itself and provide users with the ability to scan through these snapshots or mount these snapshots without having the master server even up and active. And here I have my vStore server, and I ran a backup to it. Here's that volume that we can um, enable locking on, flexible immutability volume protection. But what I want to do is I want to ensure that my snapshots are free from ransomware. Um, I can enable what we call an on-demand verification of the snapshots on vStore. So remember, we had the guard mode agent looking at the client side and notifying on the client side. Now with guard mode being built into vStore, we now have the ability to mount snapshots directly without need for the master server, right? So if your master server goes down, you have this ability to mount a snapshot here and then scan that snapshot for ransomware. So here you can see I've already mounted a snapshot. Um, I have the ability to issue a guard mode scan, and this is just a scan that I can run against that mounted snapshot that's performing the same uh, file checks for violations, block lists, magic number, or file entropy
Mm-hmm.
inconsistency. So these reports will show up, or these files and reports will show up in my guard mode scan from vStore to ensure that, hey, this is a good snapshot to restore from, or might not be the best of snapshots to restore from, based off of the number of suspicious files or alerts that have been sent from this guard mode scan.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I'm very glad to see that. I mean, this is a huge step for us to not just to protect our you can see my screen now, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, not just protect our clients, also protect our backup repositories. Okay, let's walk into another scenario. I mean, today my job is challenging you, and many companies they might find themselves and imagine a company which needs some regular restore, and recently some business have run into trouble because the data they brought back had a malware maybe hidden in it, leading some problems. So now we assume that company's CIO or CISO is on high alert and they want to make sure that when they bring data back, they want it clean and safe and avoid to any like serious trouble for their work. So many people will think about the backup integrity verification, and which is really matter. So do you think we can like deal with that with our update as well?
Yeah, so these are all part of vStor functionality, the ability to mount snapshots outside um, of the master server, provide that level of on-demand verification from vStor, um, and using our advanced recoveries, we can make snapshots into virtual machines. We can not have or not require the user to actually have storage in their environment because we can present our vStor server up as primary storage during the restore. So it's a great use of test dev and disaster recovery testing that can all be done with vStor without needing to set up sandbox environments or storage for those environments and running those restores. We can perform this level of validation from vStor and using these advanced recoveries that we have to
Nice.
mount.
Yeah, I'm glad it's a simplified process as it's if it's too complicated, people just ignore that and they just keep like skip these verifications. So that's pretty bad. Um, let's go for next. Sometimes, we discuss the vStore a lot, and a common concern about companies or our customers is that the threat of the ransomware attacks corrupting some critical files. And in that case, the critical files are affected. And my question is, how does our system facility actually access to clean data for recover in time? I mean, which is probably very critical as whoever's CIO, IT manager, they want to recover quickly, right? For these critical files. They cannot just recover like the whole machine and then pick up part of these files, which takes a very long time, maybe even hours, even days, right? So
Right,
do we have
exactly.
any updates as that? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let me share out my screen again, and
All right.
I can. So with DPX, you know that with our catalog, right, where we're keeping track of all the backups and snapshots and what file names match to which blocks within the snapshots, you're going to be able to pull out files and folders from these agent-based or agentless backup jobs. So agentless, we're able to drill down into the VMDK, into the virtual disk, and pull out single files from that server or from that snapshot. And these are just some of the other advanced recovery restores that we support, everything from bare metal restore to virtualization restore. A lot of times, though, that users, in order to perform these restores, users need to rely on the master server. They need to rely on the catalog, the database that stores and points to all this data. And in the case of when your master server gets corrupted, right, or when there is a backup, a loss of data on your master server, you're going to need to go through the process of at least rebuilding the master server and restoring the catalog. But what we can do from a vStore perspective, remember, we want to improve and make vStore more independent from the master server because it's got a lot more capability. Guard mode scan was one of the features that we had talked about in order to just scan or perform scanning directly on the vStore server. The other feature that I want to talk about here is the ability to perform a single file restore using vStore Snapshot Explorer. So taking the same snapshot. So if I jump back my vStore here, right, I can uh, drill down into, let's say, another backup volume here, and I'm going to mount that snapshot here to create a file system of it directly from vStor without the need for the master server. And in this case, I can mount my C drive here. And what's going to happen is if you're familiar with instant access, that is our ability to perform a restore by mounting a snapshot directly from vStor. This is me using instant access on vStor itself without the need for the master server, right? So I'm mounting the snapshot directly from vStor and presenting a file system to vStor to itself. So it's going to take about a minute or so for this to
Okay.
complete, but let's once it's complete, we can move forward,
Yeah,
Da.
yeah, yeah. Let's wait for a while, and I can share my screen. So, I mean, we just shared some in this kind of scenario. Our data got um encrypted or whatever locked, and we can do the fast access to the clean data, right? Can you explain a little bit to the audience here, Martin?
Y- Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing right now from a vStor Snapshot Explorer perspective. We are mounting the snapshots directly from vStor. This is a snapshot that you might have that happened before the attack. You might have performed a guard mode scan to ensure that it is free from ransomware. Um, and it's going to allow you to uh, recover those individual files without having to perform a restore or recovery of the entire virtual machine, let's say through a virtualization restore, which you wouldn't be able to do if the master server was down itself, right? So that's one of the scenarios in which we can use vStor Snapshot Explorer as well.
Yeah, this is really my most interesting part today. I mean, we talk about, I mean, for the clients, for this backup repository, everything got affected by the ransomware or hacker. They control everything. But another scenario is like, okay, there's some kind of James Bond, I say. It's Superman. And he actually get our backup master server down as well, which means both our master server, both our clients production server, they both offline. What will happen and how we can help this kind of scenario? I guess most people just say, okay, I have no idea, and I just want to like, okay, I will quit my job, things like that, right?
Right. So yeah, there's different ways in which we can skin this cat, but with vStor Snapshot Explorer, this is where we can scan the file system of snapshots directly. And let me just share out my screen again here, Da.
All right.
So
Oh,
you
and
can see
mounted
here.
successfully, right?
Yep. So the image has been successfully mounted. At this point, this is like instant access directly to vStor without the master server, right? So we can go to our mounted image here, and we can now look at this file explorer type view of the file and folder structure directly within the snapshot. And again, this isn't taking up any space, right? It's a mounting. We're presenting the snapshot up to vStor, building a file system on top of it. And let's say you're doing your DPX catalog backups, right, to the server, right? We can take the file for your catalog backup here, recover that to a new master server that you can build from scratch via the OVA or the VM deployment there, and then you have your catalog back up and running, and where you can perform other advanced recoveries. But if you just want to pull out individual files and folders here, it's just a matter of going in, mounting the snapshot through vStor Snapshot Explorer, right? Selecting the files or folders that you want. So if I want to bring back this Excel document and Windows document, I can just simply use that Snapshot Explorer to perform that recovery, download it to my folder, and just
Mhm.
browse the files here that I have downloaded. So it's here's that zip file that it coalesced into
Yeah.
my my directory structure, and here is
The
the
doc and the Excel file table, right?
exactly. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so which means, I mean, let me try to understand what you showed to us. So actually, for the backup server, we can actually get their catalog file quickly and restore and build another kind of backup master server, backup category catalog server, right? And another one is like, yeah, if we really urgent on some kind of data, whatever database, whatever it's files and some kind of like tables you just show to us, we can quickly get that data without like a forced restore, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right, perfect. So today we have like even the backup server down, we can still have the independent data access, and we reduce our dependency on our like infrastructure, and also which means we enhance our flexibility and the resilience. So all these yeah, these are probably all of my challenge questions. I mean, I think these are pretty critical scenarios. So let's conclude today's webinar a little bit. We actually mentioned in the last webinar, actually these are two series of our new update on DPX vStore. Last time we talked about the backup target, majorly about immutability. We call it flexible immutability, and which is very comprehensive for sure. And today we talk about like we already have Gamo like 2 years ago, and which is only protect our production servers, I mean Windows and Linux. But today we talk about new scenarios for the mid of it, like our backup system, DPX master server, and our major backup repository, DPX vStore. Actually, we integrate guard mode into vStore today, which is pretty awesome. We not just do the pre-backup uh, ransomware detection, we also do the post-backup ransomware detection, on-demand ransomware detection for backup. And we also mentioned the vStore Snapshot Explorer, which can help us like while we have very pressure under like critical files we need to restore, we need to access, we can get that. I don't remember. That's 1 minute, right, Martin?
Yeah, all we need to do is mount the snapshot, right? So we like to
Yeah,
call it
yeah.
recovery without restore. So we're not moving any data to the network. All the data is local to vStore, and by mounting the snapshot, we can build a file system and a file explorer view on top of it and allow you to pull out individual files and folders.
Awesome. So which means I saw in this diagram actually from the archive side, we also can have vStore Snapshot Explorer, which means in our DR side, we also can do the critical files restore and the master server bring them back there, right?
Correct, yes.
Perfect.
And-
It looks very comprehensive, which means there are some gems found bomb your data center, and your DR data center still can bring them up, and unless they have two gems bound, right? So that's my understanding. All right. So far this is our webinar today. Actually, I really want everyone's opinion on our webinar. And in the same time, if you have some kind of questions, you can type that in our chat box. Let me start that post. We really need your So you probably will see a window on the Zoom, and there are only two questions. The first one is which kind of technology we mentioned today you think would be most relevant to your cyber security or backup environment. We mentioned the flexible immutability, backup integrity verification, vStore snapshot explorer, and some critical situation, which is your data center gone, your master server gone as well. Another question is Yeah, we really want to hear your voice about our next webinar. We actually think about provide some thing related to compliance. We also think about like cyber security. A lot of people not just care about backup. They do have some interesting on cyber security. And yeah, actually we can provide you some kind of free self-assessment tool to do the cybersecurity, to check your cybersecurity level. And then there are some other customers or majorly our customers, they very care about like virtual machine backup. Like recently, people all talk about VMware and their license change from Broadcom, and some of them they care about like Proxmox scale computing and the Nutanix and this open VMs backup. If you have interest in on that part, you can vote as well. Or of course, if you have interesting on this Office 365 backup, sure, you can. If anything else, let us know. Um, yeah, let me check whether we have any questions today. Oh, I got we got a question from someone. I cannot say the name. How, Martin, the question I probably guess is for you. How does like a DPX vStore integrate with like a existing IT infrastructure? I believe it's like some kind of server or storage infrastructure. And is there some kind of like a specific requirement or preparation for them to have. And
Yep.
maybe could be some compatibility issue or performance issue they need to care about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a software development company. We develop it and manufacture software, and vStore is software-defined storage. So we're really compute and storage agnostic in the sense that, you choose the hardware that you want to install. And obviously, you can deploy vStore as a VM or virtual machine backed by virtual disks as well. And so long as you present it up with block storage, we're going to lay down our software, install our file system that's going to enable you to perform these advanced recoveries and restores. We even have some people using vStore as a primary storage. But one of the things that we've been doing is we've also been looking at partnerships with hardware vendors, right, to develop a purpose-built backup appliance. And this is something that we're pretty excited about as well. We should have some more details coming up in the future here, where you can just buy a turnkey solution, right? That a hardware appliance that contains both our DPX master server software and our vStore server software running on a single box with storage, complete with storage. So kind of your one-stop shop for those users who maybe don't want to partake in that level of customization for building out vStore, installing vStore on their own hardware. But this is another option that they would have.
Yeah, vStore is pretty awesome as I see. I mean, we can even have no like a master server and vStore still can bear these burdens and to do the restore job, which is pretty awesome. And I think everyone should install vStore, especially it's free now. I don't know whether someone will license them in the future. Another question. I think I already asked it. I mean, the vStore Snapshot Explorer mount. It looks takes very long, but based on your experience, Martin, which should be like at least the maximum like a minutes level, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're just building a file system on top of it, so on top of the snapshot. So some um, variability of that building the file system might be predicated upon the number of files within the snapshot, right? We don't care about the size of the snapshot because, again, we're not moving any data. We're simply mounting the snapshot. But if you, let's say, have millions of files within that drive letter, it might take a little longer than having just like a typical file system on the server.
Yeah, I believe this guy is probably like they are trying to do the trial of the new version, so pretty excited. So yeah, thank you everyone to join this webinar today. And if you want this presentation, you can contact us by the left QR code, and you can have the web links below as well. And if you want a demo or you want a trial, like you think, okay, the vStor Snapshot Explorer or the vStor how vStor can bring up these master servers, you have interest in on the trials, you can scan the right QR code. Okay, thank you again, everyone, and thank you, Martin, for joining this webinar.
Thanks, Doc, for having us.
All right, bye.